Maggie, front and center, please. And no, you can't kick me in the shin. You have to come up here. You have to come all the way up here. If I have to do it, you have to do it. That's rude. So this, Maggie, is a certificate of your baptism to commemorate the date so you will always remember. And it's your birthday, but you get a piece of paper, and it's good cardstock, too. You can frame it and put it, over your mother's bed. Say, see, this is what it is. And it is signed by your grandfather, Pastor Ron. So thank you for letting us witness that and have the ability to see that. That is the first one, like ever. Wow. Progress, people. So today, we're going to talk about the advent of love. And we're going to be in 1 Corinthians 13. This is where we're going to start. I love bringing the kids up here. I love it when Billy brings the kids up here. I love it when Jim says, hey, you forgot about the kids. But kids are something else. They're little financial drains. I'm sorry. Sorry, we're in the middle of the Christmas season, and that was my wallet speaking, not me. I apologize. But just think about the day your child was born and the joy that you had. And as a dad, anytime I saw that child come out, I experienced a new level of violence that I would be able to commit if anybody harmed this child. And then I had a granddaughter, and then that level went above. Grandchildren, for those of you who don't know, grandchildren is the payoff for letting those ungrateful teenagers live in your house and letting them live. But you have your child, your first child, second child, doesn't matter, new child, same feeling of just love. You didn't know you could love something so much. You take it home, and for the first couple days, you love the fact that it doesn't let you sleep. And you get to be there for its first noises. Hopefully it's up the front side and not, and you get to start doing these things with the kid, and they start blowing bubbles at you, and you can Zerbert them, and you can do all these things, and everything's going great. And then they start crawling, and that's when you start getting into the danger zone. There's a danger zone attached to that. And then they start scooting and crawling, and then they learn that you own a coffee table, and that coffee table is their gymnasium, and they pull up on it. And then once they get the ability to pull up, their legs start getting strength, and then they take that first step. And you're just so excited. And then they take the second step, and then they fall. And then you go, well, that one's broke, let's throw it away and start over. No, we don't do that, because we love our kids. We pick them up, and we say, hey, it's fine. You can do this. We'll try again later. And there's just an undying love, especially moms. I mean, moms, y'all bear a brunt, and it should not be understated, the level and the intensity of the hurt that you can feel in the name of love. And dads, we try to be stoic. We try to be, I've got to be tough, I got to be rigid. The family is, counting on me. Hopefully you have a good men's fellowship where you can crash. Because if you never crash, that's going to turn into anger. Anger is going to turn into dismay, and dismay is going to turn into just anxiety, hate, just all the things that go against what love truly is. And so where we're at today is in 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 1. Hopefully you are there by now. And it says, if I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all the mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but I do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship, that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Now, that is probably, for some of you in here, the 1,000,001 time that you've heard that passage. And I would like to break that passage down just a little bit. Let's get into what it's actually saying. So, when you love someone, when you profess love to someone or something, what are you doing that for, is my question. I love money. Why do you love money? Because money makes me look like I have things. What does that matter? In Peter, we read that he's going to burn it all. So what's the point of that? Well, interesting thing that you can do with that passage, replace the word love. Replace it with mercy. Mercy is patient. Mercy is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. Replace that word with forgiveness. Forgiveness is patient. Forgiveness is kind. It does not envy. If you start really getting into what makes God God and what makes him holy and the attributes of God, that's it right there. That's what love is. I asked a question to the youth, and I asked a question to the adults. I did. I swear I asked the question to the adults. I asked them, we've thrown the Bible at you for a year now. Bible study, be better people. All the stories that we've given you, the ministries we attach to the word discipleship, trying to flesh out what discipleship truly is. Where are you at? After a year, where are you at? And happy to report that the youth had a very drastic answer than the adults. The youth said, it's my fault. I realized what I had done and what he has done for me. And without him, I am nothing. That's what your youth said. And I sat and listened to the adults. Guys, I love you. I love everyone in this room. But being a good person has nothing to do with the gospel of Jesus Christ. The gospel of Jesus Christ is you are not a good person, and you are because he is. He came down to this earth to save you from yourself. And it has nothing to do with you. Whether you're here or not, he still would have. So, I would challenge each and every one of us to self-reflect. That's what this fast has done for me. It's given me a lot of self-reflection. And I got to be honest with you, with a lot that I was seeing in the mirror, I did not like. I have tried to avoid these things. I've tried to, if I just don't acknowledge they exist, then I don't have to deal with them. And through the course of the first half of this fast, I realized that I do not have control of my anger. I do not have control or self-awareness enough to hold myself back from certain things. I do not have, I started counting all the things that I don't have. And why have I listed all these things down, and why can't I overcome this? Because I haven't acknowledged that God loved me so much that he sacrificed his son for me. And if you think that you can be a good person to come over this, or I can just live a good life, then you don't need a savior, and you haven't gotten the message of the gospel. And for that, we are to blame, because we have not explained it. We have not pushed it. And so I hope today, if you haven't taken a step to look at yourself and where you're at. Do you love yourself? Do you have mercy on yourself? Can you forgive yourself? That's the hardest one to come around. I don't feel that I should be forgiven for this. I've heard that more times than I can. I asked one guy, why can't you just accept the gospel? Because if I can't forgive myself, I don't know why I should allow him to. Joseph is messing with me right now. I feel it. Problem with that statement is he doesn't ask your permission. It's already done. It was done at the foundation of the earth. He knew that this was going to come around. And so the love that we're waiting on has already been here. It's already been bestowed upon us, already been given to us as a gift if we just accept it and follow through with it. You can't lose it. It's not yours to gain. You don't have to do anything for it. It's there. In Romans it says the beauty of God is there for everyone to see. There is no excuse. And so we have to ask, well, love. What is this love thing that he keeps talking about? Well, he gives us quite a few examples. The one men hate the most. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives. That's easy. I just bought mine a dishwasher yesterday. Loving your wife, that's fairly uncomplicated, right? Come home every day. I support the family, support her. She wants to go out with the ladies. Have at it. Not knowing that that's the ulterior motive. Now I can go into the garage and do what I want to do. Love your wives. Pretty simple statement. But then he puts an explanation. Just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Whoa. All the guys in the room that are thinking about marriage, something you need to pay attention to. Love your wife, that's easy. But to love them as Jesus loved the church, what did Jesus do for the church? Jesus went to the cross. Are you willing to go to the cross for your wife? Are you willing to die for your wife? Now, I'm not talking about taking a bullet. I'm not talking puff up your chest and no one shall ever besmirch my fair maiden, or we will have fisticuffs. How about you just not be the most important person in the room when you walk in it? Pastor that I listened to said, problem with husbands like to fix things, most of us. We like to fix things. We got to fix it, right? We got to fix. There's a problem. We got to fix it. That tile is out of square by 1/16 of a millimeter. We need a new floor. We got to fix it. So we run into the problem of we ask our wives, so how was your day? And then she uncorks this just venting. It's like Mount Vesuvius personified. And we immediately go into, I need to fix this. And you try to fix it, and then she gets mad, and you're like, I'm just trying to help. All she wanted you to do was listen. She didn't need you to fix anything. She just wanted you to listen. And pastor that I listen to, he says, the gravest error that husbands make, and the one thing that they can fix the most when they approach their wife and they're having a conversation, facts for facts, feelings for feelings. If she's having a feeling, don't approach her with a fact. That is nonsense. If she's having a feeling, ask. Are you okay? You need me to handle this, or you just want me to listen? They know we're not the brightest crayons in the box, so they expect the questions. If it wasn't for them, we would lose half of our stuff that was sitting next to the chair that we just put it at. So, but that begs the question, can you love your wife like Jesus loved the church? That puts a new dimension into that statement of loving your wife. Well, how do we love? How do we do these things of loving? And, well, he gave us an example. Love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. You are my friends if you do what I command. Now again, laying down one's life does not necessarily correlate to taking bullets for people. It's in the same sense of pick up your cross and follow me. It's when you walk into a room, you're not the most important person in the room. When friends need help, you help with no expectation of anything in return. If a friend just needs to talk, be there to listen. If you see a friend doing something wrong, it sounds like we have things marching in here. If you see a friend doing something wrong, pull them off to the side and gently, is everything okay? This is not you. Is everything okay? Don't immediately fall into the, dude, you're a sinner, man. I thought you were saved. What is wrong with you? That's the first way to push somebody away. If you love them, you'll want to know what's going on with them. You'll want to get down in the weeds with them. You'll want to be an accountability partner for them. And so can you lay yourself down? Are you the most important person in your life, or is Jesus the most important person in your life? Because if you hear it all the time, man, if Jesus comes back, that's going to be awesome. I would die for Jesus. I really would die. I can't wait to die for Jesus. Man, just live for it. That's all he asks. He didn't ask you to die for it. He asked you to live. He said, be still, be wary, be not afraid, be not anxious. My burden is easy. Because all you got to do is follow him. And interestingly enough, this is not a suggestion. This is a command that you love your brothers and sisters, that you love the people around you. And if you have someone that is not a believer, that does not mean turn your back on them. I'm going to stand over here because it seems like every time I go there is when it makes the noise. Mike says it's my manly beard is what's causing the noise. So, now they can't hear me. This isn't. So, command given is a command to follow. This is not a suggestion. This is a guys, if you truly do love me, you'll do what I say. You'll do what I have said. You'll love these people. And when you see a non-believer that's in sin, your task is not to judge them. Judgment begins in the house of the Lord. Non-believer knows not that he's violating Scripture. If he doesn't believe in it, how can he feel like he's violating something he doesn't believe in? So judgment begins in the house of God, amongst his people. We're there to attract and pull people out of the darkness. That's why we're supposed to be the light. Not our own light, but a vessel of Jesus' light. All right, this is really, guys. A vessel of Jesus' light, because they're lost and they need to be found, and they can walk towards the light that you are supposed to show on display. So, do you truly love people? Do you truly love your brothers and sisters? Are you willing to lay yourself down, make yourself second or even third, do things without announcing it, do things without any expectation of acknowledgement or any revelry or things that need to be done just get done because that's what Jesus told you to do. I'm going to switch microphones. Give me 1 second. Is that better? All right. I'm going to do what needs to be done because that's what Jesus told me to do. And why did Jesus tell us to do those things? John 13:34. He said, "A new commandment I give you, love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." Just because you go to church doesn't mean that you're a disciple of Jesus. That's not the signifier. Just because you're always listening to KSBJ on the radio when people get into your car, that's not the signifier that you are one of Christ's disciples. The signifier of if you're one of Christ's disciples is how much you love them. How much you're willing to go outside of yourself, put yourself second, stand in the gap for people. If you don't have the time, you make the time. That's where sacrifice comes from. Are you willing to sacrifice for your friends? We do these things to be known as disciples, not by how many Bible verses we own, not in our own minds, not how many Awana awards we won back in the 1900s, not what your affiliations are outside of the church. You're known as a disciple by how you love people. And Jesus went to the cross for his people. He went to the cross of Calvary to lay down his life. And that plan of redemption was set at the foundations of the earth. So love like no one else. Be the weird Christian guy that's always happy. That's who I want to be associated with. That is the overly happy, always like lovey guy that doesn't ever get mad for whatever reason. And he's the first one to show up when you need help. It's the strangest thing. He knows that I like listen to all this music, and he knows that I do these things. But he's always there. He's always there to encourage. He's always there to give me that message that I need Jesus. Well, who is this Jesus person he's always talking about? Because if he's trying to be like him, maybe I need to look more into that. Because remember, there's not a self-help book. There's not a financial advisor. There's not a you name it that is going to get you out of your situation. They may help, but there's only one person that can fix it. And that is Jesus Christ, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And until we realize that it ain't about us. The Bible is not about you. You are not David. Your financial burdens are not Goliath. If you put yourself into that story, you're asking for a burden that you can't carry. That burden was meant for David in his time, not for you in this time. But being believers in Jesus and being disciples, we are built for such a time as this. When the world seems like it's going upside down, when nothing seems right, as it's prescribed in Timothy, when evil starts being called good and good starts being called evil, that's what we were built for. We were built to show them what good truly is. There is no good in me. There's only good in him. And can you point them to Jesus? Do you love them enough to lay yourself down? Because Jesus knew he was coming to lay his life down for us, to give us that gift of salvation. And so what is love? What does love have to do with it? To quote the great Tina Turner. Love is this. That some 2,000 years ago, a young girl that was recently married, still a virgin, carrying a baby, that she knew was going to be the Messiah, went back to her husband's home for the census. And there was no room. So she had to have that child in a manger. Everybody already knows I'm the doom and gloom guy around here, so I got to paint that picture for you. A manger in that time was basically a hole carved into a rock where they could store the animals. And she had our Messiah in the most meekest, the poorest way possible. Alone, just her and her husband. In a stall. They had to use the cloth, the swaddling clothes that they would wrap baby lambs up. They had to use that to wrap the child up. That child then grows into a man. And that man starts a ministry. And he calls out 12 disciples. And he and those 12 disciples changed the world. And his ministry ends with his sacrifice of going to the cross. And he willingly went to the cross so that you would have the gift of salvation. The 10 Commandments were given to us to show us that we couldn't keep them. How do we know that? Because the Pharisee says, "Oh, I haven't killed anybody." And Jesus goes, "Well, do you hate? Have you gone to bed angry and hateful at someone? Because if you have hate in your heart, you murdered that person." So even 5-year-old me that would say, "I didn't kill anybody," I can't have that one. And so knowing that we couldn't save ourselves and there was no way to follow the law, and the law wasn't going to get us to be as holy as God is holy so that we could step into eternity with the Father, Jesus came down and sacrificed himself, willingly going to the cross to die. While on the cross, he says, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." It's been said that he's talking to the Roman guards and he's talking to the Pharisees directly underneath him at the cross. But did you know he was quoting a line from the Psalms? So even on his dying breath, he was preaching the gospel to those people. And then with a final word, Tetelestai, it is finished, it is complete. He gave himself up back to the house of God. But the good news is, 3 days later, that stone was rolled away. And Jesus walked out of that tomb, being the first fruits of God's wrath, to cover his people in his shed blood so that we could enter into glory with the Father and that we could spend eternity with him. And all we have to do is love. That's how important that word is. With no love, you can't have mercy. With no mercy, you can't have forgiveness. it all tracks back to love. Don't love people as you want to be loved. Love people as Jesus loved you. And he went to the cross of Calvary for you. Now, if there's anybody here that is, what is this guy talking about? I'm talking about the good news of Jesus Christ, or the gospel of Jesus Christ. That the gift of salvation is a free gift. If you are willing to say, Jesus, you are my Lord, repent and walk away. And start a relationship with the Son to spend eternity with the Father. This message is not going to sink in too heavily. But I'd like to talk to you about it. If it piqued your interest, if you want to talk to somebody about it, the altar is open. The band, come forward. As Billy always says a lot, this altar never closes. I'm waiting for someone to challenge him on that. No one has yet. Because I don't care if it's the first song, the last song, in between songs, while the sermon is happening. If you need to deal with it and you need to get rid of it and you're wrestling with it and you're looking for help, this altar is open. There are people out there who will stand in the gap with you. If all you need them to do is sit there and listen. You don't need anything but a reassuring hand on your shoulder to let you know that there is someone else there for you. This altar never closes. So take a minute. If you're still dealing with something, now's the time. The people are here, and we were built for such a time as this. If you're dealing with it, let it go. Let him have it. Because it's a weight that you don't need. So as the band plays,